guys, this is the last bit of Pistons basketball we're going to see for a while. We know training camp isn't that far away, but we have a ways to go until we get to the preseason, which is about two and a half months? 2.5 months out. Preseason begins on October 4th around the league. That's when it starts. So we got about 2.5 months to wait to get some more Pistons basketball. But now we turn our attention to offseason work. Offseason work, guys. And this is the most important part for our main guys, right? We know the summer league is good for guys, trying to crack the roster, trying to, get a rotation spot. But the offseason, this period right now, from now until training camp, from now until preseason and season, is the most important time for our team, right? This is probably the most important offseason for our young guys, our young core as a unit. This is probably the most important offseason for these guys. Just having everybody healthy, having roles defined, having a clear direction for this team, and having something to build on, right? Having something to build on after last season, getting that taste of the playoffs, because expectations are changing, right? There was no expectation for this team last year going into this year. We already know there are a lot of people saying 25 games would be a win. 25 games is realistic, right? No expectations last year. I personally said 35 games, right? So I didn't think that low, but the point is the expectation for the Pistons to get to the playoffs probably wasn't even there. If you ask most fans, if they're being honest, this time last year, if they thought the Pistons would win 44 games, the answer would be no. So, but now the Pistons have switched gears, and now they're looking to make some serious noise with this young group that they have. So the vibes this offseason, guys, you can probably see it. They're different than they were last year. It's a totally different mindset, totally different urgency. And in seasons past, it's just totally different from how it is now. There's clear and true expectation, not just to make the playoffs, but to advance, to get deeper into the playoffs, something they almost did last year. So as far as players who I think are going to benefit most from this offseason, there's two guys for me that come to mind. The first guy is Ausar Thompson, right? Ausar Thompson last year did not have an offseason at all because of his blood clot. He had to sit out for 8 months, no basketball activity whatsoever. It's a long time. So I think with a full offseason, we're going to see a much better and consistent player next season from him. I'm not saying he's going to be Amen Thompson next year, which he could, but you're going to see a version that's closer to Amen as far as impact on the court. I'm not saying offensively he's going to be that, but defensively, I think you're going to see him take another jump, and his impact on the game is going to be even more than what it was last year, because he's going to have a full offseason to really polish some areas of his game. And I think that's going to come in really handy for him. And the other guy is Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey, he's going to have a full offseason now to get reacclimated with his body. We know he went down in January, and that was the last time he played a basketball game in the NBA. We're in July now, right? So he's going to get a chance to get used to his body, to learn his body, and to build that trust back in his body. A lot of time when guys come back from injury, they end up getting hurt again because they're overcompensating because they don't want to put too much pressure on the leg or ankle that they hurt, and they hurt their other ankle as a result of it. So I think it was smart for the Pistons not to bring him back. Even though we all know the coulda, woulda, shoulda game, if Stu was healthy, if Jaden was healthy, we had a good shot of getting past the Knicks in that first round, right? All those games pretty much were down to the wire. So having a guy like Jaden would have definitely helped. But long term, I think it's better because now we can go into this. We had already blown expectations out of the water last year, even whether we brought him back or not, right? So nobody was going to be disappointed or shocked if the Pistons didn't win the first, that series against a team with a higher seed, right? That's why I think it was a good idea for them to just let him just sit out and take an offseason to get back into form, because he was not going to come back immediately and be the Jaden Ivey that we saw before he went down on January 1st. So you would have risked him getting hurt again, and he wouldn't have been the guy that you may have been used to seeing, and he wouldn't have had the reps and rhythm and comfortability with his teammates because he had been off. So there were a lot of reasons to not bring him back. The pros and cons, I think the cons outweighed the pros as far as bringing him back for those reasons. So once again, though, he's going to have a full offseason now, fully healthy, coming back to be able to get back into form and to get familiar with his guys, and he can get reintegrated into the starting lineup. And now, for the first time with Coach Bickerstaff, we will get a chance to see Jaden Ivey and Asar Thompson starting together, because that did not happen one time last year. For those who may not have known that, when Jaden Ivey got hurt January 1st, a few weeks later, Asar Thompson, who was slowly getting integrated, playing 18 minutes a game, 20 minutes a game, before Jaden went down, who was just getting his feet wet, was Asar. A few weeks later, you saw Asar start to really get involved more into the offense and to get more comfortable, and his minutes started to go up. But before that happened, those two guys never started last year. Not one game. So it's going to be very important for these guys to get that comfortability, and the way you do that is right now in the offseason. So like I mentioned, that's why I think this is going to be such an important offseason for our young guys. Just to build that camaraderie, right? Build that consistency and learn each other under Coach Bickerstaff, because they did start under Monty Williams, but come on. There was no development whatsoever. No development. You didn't see these guys get better individually or as a team ever in that season. So this is the first time with Coach Bickerstaff you'll see these guys get put in their best positions, playing to their strengths, playing with each other, and that's going to go a long way for them. It's Black says he's actually a point guard, unlike Sasser. He must be referring to Dennis Jenkins. Yeah, Dennis Jenkins is a pure point guard. I think that's clear now. He's a pure point guard. Sasser is a very talented player, but he's a scorer. We saw last season the Pistons try to put him in positions as a point guard to run the offense, and it wasn't consistently good enough, right? He didn't look comfortable enough. We would see him run sets every now and then that he may have learned, and those would play out well, but it wasn't sustainable. There were times out there when the offense would get stagnant, and the Pistons had to go to guys like Tobias Harris or Malik Beasley to be the hub of the offense, and that didn't go well, which is why we got Dennis Schroeder a month after Jaden Ivey went down, right? So those things considered, I hope, Stas is able to get an opportunity. I just don't know how he's going to get it here with us. Especially if we bring Dennis Jenkins here, and it'll be Dennis Jenkins, it'll be Karis LeVert that we added, Duncan Robinson, we already got Jaden Ivey. Okay, coming against a lot of guards, a lot of wings, a lot of guards. I don't know how. Of course, Shaz O'Neal, can't forget about him. So it's crowded in the backcourt right now, and I just don't know if he would get an opportunity or how he would. I don't see his path at this point. I don't see his path. So, and another thing, we know that Coach Bickerstaff has said, and not even just him, but Trajan Langdon, Pistons president, has said continuously that he wants defensive versatility and he wants size. And Sass doesn't really give you that. So just based off what Trajan is saying, I don't see how, based off what he wants his team to look like, I don't see how Sass gets an opportunity, especially since we've added more guys who have more size. So we'll wait and see on that, but it's Black, you're right. Sasser's not a point guard. It's not his fault. He got put in positions where he wasn't that successful last year, but you could see they were just trying to give him a chance. But I think having a more natural point guard like Dennis Jenkins when we need him for foul trouble or injuries, knock on wood, things like that, that's a better pick. That's a better player to, I think, use in that situation. Sean says Tolu is not an NBA player. I love him in the G League though. We'll see. I mean, you may be right. You could be right, Sean. I don't know. I think he has potential to get there. I don't think he's an NBA starter, but I do think he can earn a roster spot. Maybe not with Detroit, maybe somewhere else, but I do think he is a good enough big to play in the NBA. I'm not going to say he is not an NBA player. He's maybe not an NBA starter, or maybe not a rotational player, but I think he deserves a spot on a roster, much like how we saw B-Ball Paul last year. He wasn't a rotational guy for most of the season, but in situations when JD or Stu would get in foul trouble or somebody's not available, he would come in and play hard and he'd be effective. I could see Tolu Smith doing that for an NBA roster. I can see him doing that. Asar needs to knock down those mid-range and three-point shots. He'll be a force if he can. Absolutely. And I wouldn't mind seeing him start with the mid-range, right? I mean, you're seeing Ron Holland take jumps. I don't think we've seen guys take this kind of jump. And it's just summer league, but you see the jumps that he's taking quickly, including from long range. I don't think it's fair to expect that from a guy like Asar. I think Ron is a naturally better shooter. I think Ron's a naturally better scorer. I think he's just got more touch than Asar does, right? Asar is a freak athlete. He's got Ron on the athleticism, right? And he's a better defender than Ron right now too. But shooting the ball, he's not on the level of a Ron Holland right now. And I think, like you said, Urban Alien, I think it's better to just gradually get him out there. If he's just taking mid-range shots, putting the ball on the floor, getting to the paint, pulling up for that little mini jumper he likes, that's cool. I like that. I think if he works his way out eventually, working for Vincent, he can eventually get there. But he is going to have to improve as a shooter, period. Whether it's from long range, mid-range, whatever. He's got to get better. And I think, once again, having a full offseason, after being off 8 months last offseason, we're going to see a much improved player in Ashard Thompson for sure.
All the dirty work, all dog. I'ma dive on the floor, go try to block every shot, and I'ma be physical with you the whole game. You know Stu gonna be physical with you. When you think of the Pistons, you think it's just hard work and just gritty basketball. That's just the identity you gotta have when you put on that jersey.
I'm not your average breed of canine. Not a good dog, I'm bad boy for life. I set the tone, don't care about no tick. Let it be known, I get my respect. Come in the lane and see I don't bluff. If you retaliate, that's on ya. Talking pundits, I hear your shade. Talking that shop, you must run this way every day. Tryna tell ya, put the dog palm, mess around, find out, yeah. Tryna tell ya, put the dog palm, mess around, find out, yeah. For some barbecue sauce, boy, you better crop a hill, cause I'm like that. When you're real for some barbecue sauce, boy, you better crop a hill, cause I'm like that. The dog palm, mess around.